I put her in a situation that she wasn't ready to be in. I'm drinking water out of my fancy dog mom cup for no other reason than I was about to film this and I wanted water, so I'm like, very fitting, gotta have the dog mom cup. Little Miss is a sleepy baby today. She's so cute when she sleeps. I do want to say, with this channel being so new, and I haven't started a new channel for like 10 years, I'm still trying to figure out like what I want this channel to be about. Well, obviously it's very apparent it's about Freya and dog content, but more so finding like the exact niche I want to go down and how I want to kind of line up or schedule or plan content, if that makes sense. There's a lot of like mind work and not science, but just planning behind obviously a YouTube channel, and I've gotten that down to like a science on my main channel. But for this one, I'm like, okay, so do I want to do some training videos every month and then like this kind of video every month and do this maybe once a week or do this every 2 months or something? So trying to figure that out, and I think I kind of honed in on something that I do want to do. Of course, training videos are going to be coming, but I do want to sprinkle in videos like this one where it's more of like a chatty, whether it's like advice or tips or epiphanies that I've had, more of just like relaying information to you guys. It's not necessarily training on like how to teach this trick, but something that was like integral to how I did train Freya, or something that I think made a huge difference in how we trained Freya or how we live with Freya and how all that worked, kind of thing. And that's what today's video is going to be about. I wanted to kind of preface a lot of my training videos with this thought, which I think is so important. And I try to tell this to a whole bunch of people. Like when they're like, what is your biggest tip? I give them like 3 things that aren't even related to like physically teach them sit or whatever. And I want to walk through those, not in this video, we're just going to focus on one of them, but I want to run through all of those kind of tippy things that I think have been super, super helpful that might not be like obvious, I guess. And it's hard for me to rank like these top 3 to 5 things in order, but I do want to say that this one to me had the biggest difference in my mindset when it came to training Freya and like how we taught her certain skills, or even just how we adjusted to having her. Like if you're talking about the puppy blues, if you're talking about anything along those, you know, lines, I feel like this phrase or this saying or this way of thinking and going about it really helped me. And I wanted to share with you guys, and I wanted to kind of chat through it just in case you've never heard it or you don't really know what I'm talking about, or maybe you have but you've never connected it to training your dog or training your puppy. And I think that's like a game changer for me. And this saying is something that I used to carry with me when I was a cheerleading coach, when I like did cheerleading. If I'm ever trying to teach anybody anything, and it is the phrase or the saying or the mindset really that I try to follow when like going through stuff with Freya, is whatever she does, good or bad, is my fault, not hers. And let me break it down for you guys and give you a couple different like examples of this. So when I first started using this saying, it was when I was like a cheerleading coach, and when I would try to teach people, because I was like a tumbling instructor and I was a cheerleading coach. And so when I was teaching, you know, some of my athletes to do like a back walkover, a back handspring, or anything, whatever they're doing was my fault and not theirs. And if they were not grasping the concept that I was trying to teach them, that was not their fault. That's my fault as the teacher. I need to adjust to each of my students in order to teach them the right way. Because some people are visual learners, some people need repetition, some people really need it like drawn out and examples and more verbal, and some people just whatever, all these different ways of teaching somebody to do something. And as an instructor or as a teacher or whatever you want to call it, a trainer, you have to adjust that per person because everybody's different. And so if one person was doing a back handspring perfectly and I taught them how to do that, like of course you guys are going to take credit for that. You're gonna be like, yeah, I taught her how to do that back handspring. But most people, if that back handspring is a little bit, you know, rocky, they're gonna be like, well, they came to me like that, like they learned that from another instructor, I'm trying to teach it out of them, whatever. Which I'm not saying isn't true, but like take that accountability and be like, why are they still doing it that way? What have I done to help change that for them? Have I shown them that that is the wrong way? Have I pointed out, like taken a video for them so they could see where they're messing up there, and going through drills to try to correct that one thing that they're doing, whether it's keeping their legs together, keeping their arms tight and their hands not bowed out, or whatever the thing is. I know we're talking about tumbling, but like what can I do to help that? And taking accountability for me as that instructor and that coach in teaching them that skill. Like that's what their parents are paying me to do, so like I gotta show up. And so I really took that to heart. So when my teams, especially if they hit a 0-point deduction, like I'm not gonna take full credit for that, but you know what I mean? Like I prepped them for that. We had a good practice week, we hit all of our skills, we know what we're doing, we were confident, and we killed it. But also if we dropped every stunt, and even if I could point out and say, oh well, it was that flyer that didn't lock her leg out, or it was that base that dropped the stunt or whatever. It is my fault. What did I do? Where did I lack in setting them up for success? Did we not drill it enough? Did we not show them the proper grip technique so that way that base wouldn't drop that stunt? There's so many things that you can go through. And that was the mindset that I carried with me through coaching. And then to kind of take that into training a dog and think about it in that light of everything that my dog does, good or bad, is my fault because I am their trainer. I am their coach. What am I teaching them? How am I setting them up for success to do the right thing? Or how am I setting them up to do the wrong thing and maybe not know it? So walking through a couple of examples more relevant to dog stuff. Obviously, I think the hardest part with like puppies always is like potty training. You know what I mean? So if your dog has an accident in the house, I think a lot of people will quickly jump, just be like, no, why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And you want to like scold them. You want to punish them. You want to do all of that kind of stuff because that's not what they should be doing. But you have to put yourself in their shoes and understand that they are an 8-week-old puppy. Do they know that yet? No. Have they been taught correctly by you? Not yet. So when they have that accident, it's not taking it out on them because they don't know any better. It's taking it out on you, and you have to be like, okay, how do I not let that happen again? And then we take a closer look at that situation. Like, did it happen because I didn't have my eye on her and she just happened to go out of my sight and have an accident? Cool. Next time I need to make sure my eyes are glued on her all the time until she's potty trained. Or maybe it was because I didn't take her out when I was supposed to, if you guys are on a schedule and that's why she had an accident. Like, that's not her fault. I should have taken her out when I was supposed to. Has she even been taught how to potty train? Like, even if you have taken her out, like, they're gonna have accidents. Like, that's just normal. But understanding that they have not been properly taught or trained or coached how to do that skill or that task yet. And that's your fault, not theirs. This also stems from the fact that we 100% trained Freya with positive reinforcement only. So we never punished her. A lot of people would ask, like, well, how did you punish her? How did you whatever when she did things wrong? We never did. She never got punished. And that'll be like a whole other video. But that's how this mindset also goes in with that, because in my head, she should not be punished for things that she has not been taught, that it has not been trained, that we have not drilled and practiced, and that she hasn't been given the like correct amount of time to learn that thing. And if I haven't set her up for success, like I can't expect successful results. Another example, if you guys don't ever practice how to walk in a heel on leash, or even just proper leash pressure and not to pull on a leash, etc., etc., because a lot of people really want their dogs to walk nicely on a leash, but you have to put that work in. Like, you have to teach them and coach them and train them and all of that kind of stuff. So if you don't do that and you go on a walk and they're pulling all over the place, a lot of people will take that out and start yanking the leash and being like, that was the worst walk ever, I never want to do this again, my dog sucks, like why don't they listen, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, what did you do to set them up for success? Like, was that a successful situation to even put them in at this point to expect successful results? It's one thing that, you know, you have to practice it, so you're gonna go through those times where they pull and they yank and they do all the bad things, but you have to go into that knowing that they're gonna do bad things because they're still learning and you're still teaching them. Even if you're thinking right now, like, well, we've worked on potty training, we've been doing it for 6 months and they're still having accidents inside the house, like that's definitely my dog's fault. Wrong. In my opinion, it's just wrong. What have you been doing consistently? Have you been identifying why they are still having accidents? Is it because they're left at home way too long? Is it because they're not taken out as often? Is it because your dog doesn't like the rain? Those are things that you can build positive associations with and train and work on to be able to go outside in the rain and go outside in all of these like weird weather things that a lot of dogs don't really like to do. I think another easy one is jumping. Dogs love to jump on people, Freya included. And sometimes I hate it where I'm like, dang, like why does she still jump? Like, we've been working on this forever and I could sit here and I could blame her all I want, but then I have to take a step back and be like, Marissa, we let her jump on us sometimes. No wonder she's not catching it quickly, because it takes consistency, and if it's the same thing every time, they will learn it so much quicker. But because sometimes she can jump on us and sometimes she can't, like she doesn't know when, so it's going to take us way longer to train that out of her if we keep allowing her to jump on us. So that's my fault. If you guys recall, and if you guys have been on this channel for a while, I think it was her 9-month pup date is where I really talked about puppy blues and how she was like the worst she's ever been. And I went on this rant and I like shed light on like how she was so bad, and like she was, but that was all my fault. But when she was like acting out and being really just like barky and pulley and just crazy hyper, crazy energy, jumping all over the place, and I was getting so angry because I was like, why is she doing this? I don't understand. And then at the end of the day, when I took a step back and I was like, she was telling me all along, she was giving me the signs, like I know her so well, and yet in that situation I was not reading her, and I didn't take the hint that she needed to be like pulled away from that situation. She was overstimulated, and that's gonna cause her to be crazy. And yet I just got mad, not at her, still never punished her or anything like that, but I just was internally angry because I couldn't understand why she was doing all of this. But it's my fault. I did not set her up for success that day, and I was not listening to her body language and even just her like the barks and all the things. I wasn't listening. I put her in a situation that she wasn't ready to be in, and then when it wasn't going well, I wasn't listening to her, and it just kept not going well. This might sound like a very easy concept to some of you guys, and you guys are like, Marissa, well no shit. And that's great. I'm so glad if that is you. But I also hope this reached a lot of you guys in a way that you never thought to think about training before. Because for me, that was like a big game changer of just my viewpoint when training. Because y'all, and even everybody around me, my friends, family, and everything, they were like, I don't know how you have the patience for this, Marissa. Like, this is crazy. Like, the work that you put into her. And I just went about it with that viewpoint of like, everything she does, good or bad, is my fault. So let's make it all good. And how can I set her up for success and make sure that she is able to make those good decisions and give me the good behaviors that I want? If I'm not clear with my directions, how can she follow them? Like, literally this works. It's real world application, but just like taken to my dog, that I think helped a ton with my patience, with my understanding of her, my empathy of her, not getting so angry at her. I guess you could say I like gentle parented Freya, because I know that's like a huge thing right now. And it's a lot with that mindset of it's never them, it's me. And how can I make this better? But I hope this little mental tidbit was helpful for you guys and makes a difference in your training, or at least your mindset, and eases some nerves, make you less stressed while you're training, because it can be so stressful. It's a lot, guys. Raising a puppy is hard. I just found that one phrase to like give me peace of mind and not be mad at her. But if you're new to this channel and you're still here, make sure you subscribe down below if you guys want to hang around for more Freya videos, training videos, dog hauls, dog vlogs, all the things. But thank you for watching this week's video, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.